well-established Rich coming right back at you. And today we talking about Julio Foolio and the ugly reality of what happens when street culture stops being music, stops being entertainment, and turns into real funerals, real prison time, real mothers crying, and real men throwing their entire future into a fire they can't put out. And let me say this early so nobody misunderstands me. I was never the biggest Julio Foolio fan musically, but that does not mean that man deserved to be executed like some war target in the middle of Tampa, Florida. That man was hunted down like it was a military operation. And when you really look at the details of this case, it's hard to sit back and realize how many young men today are confusing self-destruction with being real. The part that really hit me about this case is not even the murder itself. It's looking at them 4 defendants sitting in the courtroom, looking completely lost, like little boys who finally realize the internet can't save you from a life sentence. Because social media will have you thinking you a savage, right up until them handcuffs click. Then all of a sudden, them same people yelling stand on business ain't standing next to you when them cell doors close.
State of Florida versus Isaiah Jermaine Chance, case number 24 CF 11996A, trial division 1, verdict form. We, the jury, finds as follows as to count 1, victim Charles Jones. The defendant is guilty of first-degree murder as charged. State of Florida versus Sean Andre Gathright, case number 24 CF 11996C, trial division 1, verdict form. We, the jury, finds as follows as to count 1, victim Charles Jones. The defendant is guilty of first-degree murder as charged. State of Florida versus R.I.C.H. Trayvon Murphy, case number 24 CF 11996D, trial division 1, verdict form. We, the jury, finds as follows as to count 1, victim Charles Jones. The defendant is guilty of first-degree murder as charged. State of Florida versus Davion Vershad Murphy, case number 24 CF 11996E, trial division 1, verdict form. We, the jury, finds as follows as to count 1, victim Charles Jones. The defendant is guilty of first-degree murder as charged.
Look at them, sitting there looking like they soul left their body. Because reality finally walked into the room and introduced itself. This ain't a rap video no more. This ain't Instagram Live. This ain't dissing the dead or throwing up hand signs. This is the part they never show y'all. They show the guns, the money. They show you the cars. But they never show you the part where you sitting in the courtroom knowing your mama about to grow old looking at you through the glass. And what makes this whole case even crazier is how strong the evidence was. These boys moved like they was in a movie. But the police built this case like a federal documentary. They tracked them from Jacksonville to Tampa. They tracked phones. They got surveillance footage, Airbnb footage, videos of them packing the weapons. Think about how crazy that is for a second. They basically documented their own downfall step by step. And that's why we keep telling y'all dumbasses, the streets now are not like they were back in the day. Everything is digital now. Everybody got cameras. Everything got GPS on it. The police don't even have to chase you half the time. Your phone gonna testify against you. Your car gonna testify against you. The internet is gonna testify against you. They even found the rifle with the brass catcher. That's why there wasn't shell casings left at the scene. Now see, that right there tells you this was not random anger. This was thought out. This was calculated. This was people convinced they was about to outsmart the system. But then the 9mm gun casings found in the safe got matched up to the murder. That's the type of stuff that breaks a case wide open. And the crazy part is, you got people online acting shocked about the verdict like this case was some mystery. Man, this thing was written in blood the minute them investigators started putting the pieces together. And here go the saddest part of all of this. Julio Foolio dead, them boys going to prison, multiple mothers destroyed, multiple families destroyed, all over a street war that nobody even gonna remember 10 years from now. That's the part these young dudes don't understand. The internet makes everything feel important when really it's just another trending topic. And now look, 1 man in the ground, 4 y'all facing the death penalty, and everybody thinks it's keeping it real until it goes horribly wrong. And I'm glad Hassan Campbell touched on death culture because he was not lying. There is a real culture right now that got young dudes thinking that crashing out is manhood. Everybody want to prove they not a snitch or that they heartless. But ain't nobody thinking about 40 years after the verdict. Ain't nobody thinking about them missed birthdays. Them dead parents they won't get to hug again. Them kids growing up without them. That's the real part of this life they don't put in them rap songs. And Julio Foolio was a product of the same environment. And that's why I said earlier, this story ain't about good guys and bad guys. This is about a system of pain that keeps recycling itself through music, through streets, through revenge, through ego, through dead homies, through internet clout. People knew this was a possibility because of the life he was living. But that don't mean he deserved it. Nobody deserves to be shot down like an animal in public. And that's why this whole story feels so empty to me. It ain't no winners. Now that's the part don't nobody want to talk about. Now it's time to deal with the life you created with your own decisions. And the hardest part about prison is not just losing your freedom. It's knowing you did it to yourself. And yeah, that may sound harsh to some of y'all, but what's harsher than what happened to Julio Foolio? What's harsher than a man losing his life in that way and his family got to live with it forever? This is the part where all of that internet tough talk collapses. This is the part where reality grabs you by the collar and say, nah, you ain't logging off this time. Because when you choose that life, you also choosing everything that come with it. You choosing the possibility of a funeral or a prison cell. And I know some of y'all ain't gonna like what I'm saying, but I'm gonna say it. These young dudes are out here being lied to every single day. They being told that crashing out makes you legendary. They being told that throwing your life away makes you solid. And it don't. A real man is somebody who can control his ego. A real man is somebody who can walk away from destruction. A real man is somebody who understands that freedom is more important than internet respect. And that's why this case needs to be studied by every young dude trying to prove how tough he is. Look at how fast their life changed. One decision, one mission, one night, and now your whole future gone. And the older you get, the more you realize that time is the most valuable thing God gave you. That's why when I look at these defendants, I just feel sad. I see young black men who never really understood how precious life was until they destroyed their own. And I'm going to tell you something else that don't get talked about enough. The same people online encouraging that street mentality won't be there when them appeals get denied. They won't be there sending commissary money for the next 25 years. They just going to move on to the next story, like I am. The next beef, the next body, the next viral moment. That's why you got to stop living for internet applause, because social media loves watching people self-destruct as long as it's entertaining. And this case should be a wake-up call to anybody who thinks the streets love them. The streets don't love nobody. The streets will have you killing people over your ego, over your pride, and over your fear of looking weak. That's the devilish part of this whole thing. And when you really pay attention to them courtroom images, you don't see soldiers. You see broken human beings. You see people who finally understand the fantasy is over. And it's crazy how fast no snitching turns into you trying to cut deals with your lawyer. People pointing fingers. People saying they ain't really even know what was going to happen. That's why I keep saying, most people only stand on business until them consequences show up. Then all of a sudden, everybody want to cry. Everybody want to pray. They want to talk about their mental health. Everybody want to say they was misled. They didn't have a role model, no guidance. But life don't work like that. And for the young people watching this video, please understand something. You don't have to prove you tough to people who ain't gonna save your life. You don't have to destroy your future to impress a crowd. And you definitely don't have to throw your soul away over internet politics. This Julio Foolio case is bigger than rap. This case is about what happens when the culture stops valuing life. And until some of these rappers start telling the truth about what this life really looks like, we're gonna keep having these same conversations over and over again. More dead rappers, more crime mothers, more young men in court looking shocked that actions have consequences. But hey, that's just my opinion. What's yours? Like, comment, subscribe. Establish Rich. I'll be back with another one. Peace.